With Joker Folie transitioning from theaters to homes across the globe, hopefully Arthur Fleck will find new appreciation in the folks willing to give him another chance. I went into Folie after hearing all the mean, horrible things people said about it, and I came out of the movie emotionally exhausted and with tears in my eyes. It was a rough film to watch, but after the first time I watched it, I wanted to watch it again and again. And these are my thoughts and review of Joker Folie. First, some negatives. There are some negatives. The emotions and storyline are brutal. I heard one YouTuber say it best when they say that the film is too hard on Arthur. And while being hard on characters is what art is all about at the end of the day, Folie makes Arthur's life so miserable and painful. I did find myself thinking this person would literally be better off if they did not exist. And I can't quite word that the way that I can't quite word that any more clearly, but you understand. Arthur suffers and suffers and is humiliated, and there isn't much, if any, light at the end of the tunnel or anywhere on the journey to the tunnel. Another negative is Lee Quenzel and Arthur's ease of access to each other, while Arthur is a high-profile case, and the guards kind of have an antagonistic, quasi-friendly relationship with him. And Harley Quinn, Lee Quenzel does have truckloads of money to bribe them with. I just find it unbelievable that a man in prison has so much access to a female visitor. Some of that could be in his mind, but whenever the two of them are interacting, that is in the forefront of my mind. If I'm a man in prison, there's no way I'm going to be at a music class with a woman, doing movie dates with a woman, and absolutely no way she's going to be in my cell. Now, the positives. Oh, the positives. Everyone is clowning on this movie, saying it's a wacky musical, that it's unrealistic, but it's actually a very real consequence of what would happen if you werewolfed and did what Arthur did in the first movie. He went on a spree, and he was taken into custody. That's what this movie is. There's something that really struck me in this movie, this film. Arthur is given so many chances to escape, to run away, to evade the authorities. People are actively trying to get him out of his cage, and yet at every one of these opportunities, he doesn't even attempt to get away from the prison. Not really. He could have escaped during the music class, during the fire that Harley Quinn started when they're watching the film together, when the courtroom is attacked, and afterwards when he is able to travel through the city and find Harley Quinn on the infamous steps, kind of maybe implying that she really did get his old apartment. Heck, he even has a getaway car that tries to help him escape, which he escapes the getaway car, right? That they could have taken him to a fully formed Joker lair, just ready to be his goons, and like he could have done a bank heist, which we'll talk about later. This could lead into the Joker from The Dark Knight. But no, Arthur does not relate to those people influenced by his violent crimes. His actions in the first movie were not because he was poor, not because he was sick or hungry. His evil actions were people being mean to him and his retaliation against them. If Arthur had indeed been raised with Bruce Wayne in the Wayne family and had every opportunity in life, it's possible he still could have ended up in this horrible situation where he snaps and werewolves against society. It's not poor against rich in his brain at all. It's a world against Arthur. And it's true. It's real. Arthur is treated by everyone in the world badly, poorly. His father, his mother, his children in the streets, strangers on the subway, his co-workers. I don't think a single good thing happens to this man in his entire life. And let me be clear, moving forward in this, I love Folie Deux, and I love the first Joker movie. There's this weird thing where it's like if you love the first one, you can't love the second one. I love them both. Okay. So that is simply not true. The film made me appreciate Lady Gaga even more, and I'm currently navigating her entire musical catalog, which is kind of my thing here on YouTube. I'm trying to hear every song ever recorded. And you know what? The musical angle of this film just didn't come out of nowhere. In rewatching the first Joker film after this one, there's a lot of talk about how Arthur feels safe in music and how it's one of the only things that comforts him. Nobody remembers. It's almost like a Mandela effect. But the Joker film, the first one, had quite a bit of Arthur singing and humming and living out moments in his head as either song or dance numbers, or a combination in conjunction with the two of them. One moment that I cannot get out of my head is the scene in prison where Harvey Dent comes on TV saying that he is seeking the unalive penalty for Arthur Fleck. And the guards and prisoners are throwing insults at Arthur. And he sings a happy song for Lee Quinzel. And I just felt the most intense pain that I've felt in a movie in a long time. And when it cuts to Arthur crying and laughing in the prison yard, that is the single most heartbreaking part of this 2.5-hour film. A movie that's so mean to Arthur, and yes, it's mean to you and I, it's mean to the audience at the same time. I cried and cried. It felt as if Joaquin Phoenix was processing his own death on camera. Like he legitimately felt like he was going to be in an electric chair and unalived right there on the set. And it was devastating and haunting in a very complex way. Arthur thought that he wanted to end it all. But in the depths of his despair, he really doesn't want this to happen. How cruel can this world be to him? How much of this can he endure? He's endured much more than any sane person could at this point. And he'll endure more abuse at the hands of everyone in this film before it's over. No one in his universe, no one in his world has ever helped him. The back and forth between Arthur and Gary Puddles is hilarious and soul-shattering, and God.
Mr. Puddles.
God, you can really see. You can see that Arthur is pretending to be his dark passenger, the Joker, and he's not doing a very good job at being the character. He's breaking character. He's like, "You didn't see my show, Gary." He's not doing a very good job. He's not doing a very good job at staying in the character of the Joker. He keeps breaking it. He's breaking that foghorn leghorn character and switching between that evil Joker persona and himself. I think that maybe Arthur might in fact be carrying around the personality of a giant chicken in him, and that's more believable than the evil super genius Joker who never really existed to begin with. God, my eyes are burning. Whatever the guards do to Arthur, that's not what sways Arthur to give up the idea of the Joker and its separate identity from him. It's Gary Puddles. Arthur is heartbroken that Puddles didn't see him on the Murray Franklin show. He thought that maybe Gary Puddles might be the only person on the planet who would understand his speech, the only person to really know what he meant by it. It could have been. It could have been Gary Puddles on that stage on the Murray Franklin show, after all. He has been mocked by society as well, but he missed it. And he missed it because of Arthur. When he sees himself in Gary and feels the intense abuse he put on him by the guards combined, he feels overwhelmed by the truth. He feels like maybe the truth could set him free. He can be with Lee Quinzel. He can get out of jail because everyone will see how awful this life has been. But that's all wrong too. He just knows the truth is what he wants to express. He's got to get it out. I gotta do the speech. It's one of my favorite movie speeches. I wanted to come out as the Joker. I was gonna go on a long angry rant and blame all of you and everyone for this fucking miserable life. It wouldn't matter because I can't do this anymore. I can't be who you want me to be. It was all just a fantasy. There is no Joker. It's just me. Like those 6 people. I wish I didn't, but I did. Nobody knows, but my mother put a pillow over her face and I just want to blow it all up and start a new life. Knock, knock. Who's there? Arthur Fleck. Arthur Fleck, who? The genius part of the real Joker, who is in fact known throughout the movie, is that you never notice him. He's freaking out, attacking guards and inmates. You got multiple views to see him. He's attacking guards and inmates, cutting people, creeping around the back of scenes, and always focused on Arthur. Even when we get a close-up of him watching the admission of the Joker that I just ripped my heart out doing, we don't notice him. He's nobody. His smile turns upside down as the fantasy is torn apart. The wheels of the Batman supervillain are put into motion. They're falling off the Batmobile and they're rolling. He believed in Arthur. And now all of that is topsy-turvy. Harley Quinn quickly leaves Joker's side, probably to get out of her rent contract on his crummy apartment building. But the inmate, whose name is Jack Oswald White, what's with the Penguin's last name as a middle name? That's weird. Jack White is not the lead singer of the White Stripes in this Elseworld universe. He's the Joker, and Arthur's admission and deconstruction of the fantasy has sparked a flame within him. This makeup's not going to come off. Let's do some Batman math real quick, why don't we? Dante Olson played Bruce Wayne in Joker 2019. He was 11 in that film, and he'd be, say, 13 when this movie takes place. Jack Oswald White is played by a 26-year-old actor. just 13 years older than young Master Bruce. So yeah, that could work. We could get a wildly, we do get a wildly different Harvey Dent, but I've heard some people say this could be Harvey Dent Sr. and Harvey Dent Jr. could be growing up while young Bruce Wayne and this 20-something-year-old Joker are growing up as well, or getting out of prison, growing up, becoming Batman. So Harvey Dent Sr., that's stretching a little bit, but we could go with it. So this could ultimately work as a Christian Bale, The Dark Knight prequel. But let's work on the math a little bit. Christian Bale was 34 when he played Batman in The Dark Knight. Not saying that's how old Batman is, but kind of ballparking 30-ish. Heath Ledger was 28 when he played the Joker, but the Joker was looking pretty rough. He's looking pretty rough to be 28 years old, so that Joker could possibly, if you told me Heath Ledger was 40 when he played that Joker, I'd believe you. So, kind of, the math is kind of adding up. So let's say 21 years passes after Folie, and who knows how old Jack Oswald White is supposed to be in Folie. He could be much younger than the 26-year-old actor. So it kind of all makes sense. Unlike you hating Folie, which is a 5 out of 5 film that you just didn't get.